Welcome back to the Tournament Podcast. This is Tom, joined as always by my brothers Marty and Mike. And today we're going to do something similar to what we did last week. We had a quick podcast, if you will, kind of a competition, a challenge. So in our last video, we had our challenge of drafting our top 5 NBA players of all time by position. So if you haven't seen that video and you're an NBA fan, check that out. Let us know of what team you think would be the best of the ones that we drafted, and let us know what your top 5 would be. But today we are going to go to the NFL, and we are going to draft our all-time starting 5 skill positions on offense. So each of us are going to have to draft a quarterback, 2 wideouts, a running back, and a tight end. At the end of this, we'll take a look at it, see who we think has the best team, and we ask you to do the same and let us know, because you are the ultimate judge here. Let us know who does best. Who would you have as your GM? And as always, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video. That would help us out quite a bit. And as you can see by our numbers, we need all the help we can get. And as a little caveat here, when we did the NBA greatest team, or our NBA draft, if you will, the dream draft, I just went ahead and we let Mike go first. Marty was second. I was third. I found a random name picker, and I have our names entered here. So we're going to randomly generate this and find out the order of the draft. So here we go. It's spinning and showing our names. Okay, well, it's completely flipped this time as I get the number 1 pick in the draft. And obviously everybody knows who I'm going to take. Marty is 2 and Mike is 3rd. So I'm sure I'll win this, ladies and gentlemen. You tell me at the end. All right. So
to clarify, we're only drafting 5 players, just
5
one.
players. We have a 30-second time limit. I mean, if you go over a little bit, that's fine, but we try not to. We want to keep it at a good pace for the viewer, so they're not just sitting around listening to us thinking or researching. So as quick as we can go, and that's part of the challenge. So before we get started here, I should have done this ahead of time. Tight end, Tom, Marty, Mike. All right, first pick in the draft. It's obviously clear who I'm going to take, the greatest player that's ever lived. And a damn good-looking gentleman, by the way. He's aging like a fine wine. Tom Brady is going to be my quarterback. Marty, you're on the clock.
All right. Let's take the greatest wide receiver of all time, Jerry Rice.
Yep. There you go. Good pick. All right. Mike on the clock.
I'm going to continue this trend. I'm going to take the greatest running back of all time, Jim Brown.
You can't go wrong with that. And actually, another little caveat, we did a podcast on the greatest running backs. And I think that was a reverse tournament, if I remember. And we did rank Jim Brown as the greatest. And I thought going in, there was no way that we would pick Jim Brown as the greatest, because it's like the old guys always say, oh, it's Jim Brown. And when you research the guy and see what he did, I mean, yep, he's the greatest. Okay, with my second pick, I'm going to go ahead and take arguably the greatest wide receiver of all time. We'll match him and Tom back up. What the heck? One of Nikita Koloff's favorite wide receivers, Randy Moss. Shout out to Nikita. So Brady and Moss are back together, and Marty is on the clock.
All right. Well, I've got Jerry Rice. Let me get somebody that can kind of help him as well. I'm going to go with arguably the greatest running back of all time, Walter Payton.
Besides Jim Brown, you mean?
We all have arguably the greatest, but well, I have Tom Brady. I don't think you can argue anybody else is better than Tom, but all the other positions, there is some chatter, of course. All right, Mike is on the clock. He has Jim Brown, and
I am going to take my quarterback next, the man that for many years, up until Tom Brady, that I thought was the best quarterback of all time, possibly still second behind Tom Brady, and that would be Joe Montana.
All right.
Speaking of men aging like a fine wine.
Well,
Agreed.
I thought he was going with Jesse Palmer.
Agreed on that. And Joe, if you're watching, we would love to get you on the show in one of our interview segments. So I'm just throwing that out there. All right, back to me. I think I'm going to go with running back, and I got to pull up a. Oh, you know what? No, I don't, because, well, yeah, part of me, and I will say, staying within my 30 seconds, part of me wants to say Bo Jackson, because I still think the career cut short. If it wouldn't have been, he could have been the greatest of all time. But I'm going to go with just certainly one of the greats here, but I've always liked this guy so much and his style. I'm going to go with Barry Sanders.
A good one.
Nice.
Good one.
And a great guy, by the way, Barry Sanders. I mean, probably one of the nicest people that I've ever seen interviewed, and as much as I know about him. But all right, Marty, who is going to join your all-star cast?
Well, I've got Jerry Rice, and I've got Walter Payton. Let me just grab before it's too late.
Oh, this has got to be over the 30-second limit. It has to be.
It's not yet. Let's see. You took. Did you take Randy Moss?
I did, of course.
You took Randy Moss. Well, let me go with. I don't know that.
If you say Jamar Chase, I'm going nuts.
Let me go. I just want to get my second wide receiver out of the way. F it. Let's go with Terrell Owens.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Shout out to my buddy Andre. I was gonna take T.O. actually as my next wide receiver, because I know that's my friend's favorite of all time. So there you go, Marty. Marty did you right there with T.O. All right, Mike is on the board. He has Joe Montana and Jim Brown.
All right. I actually already have a name written down here. I was just hoping one of you guys didn't take this individual, but I am going to delve into the wide receiver pool here. Just double checking. Yeah, I mean, this man was so dominant in his prime and retired possibly in his prime because his teams were so hideous. I am going to go ahead and take Megatron, Calvin Johnson.
That's a darn good one.
That is indeed. We'll keep this going rapid fire. I need Brady, Barry Sanders, and Randy Moss just to be loose before these games. And I'm going to put them on a cruise to have a little fun. Who better to be on that cruise with them than the greatest tight end that's ever lived? A man with all sorts of personality who we would love to get on the podcast.
Don't say it.
The Gronk is on my team.
No.
Brady and the Gronk are together again. Brady and Moss.
Thought you were about to draft Travis Kelce, former Bearcat, by the way. But
And for me to command my whole team, let's go with the quarterback that's got, laser vision and a rocket arm.
Oh, yep.
Let's go with Peyton Manning.
It's also aging like a fine wine.
Oh, gorgeous.
Be honest here.
Gorgeous. Peyton Manning. I think that pushed me, no offense, guys, over the top.
Well, you've got the two Peytons, Jerry and T.O. Mike has Joe, Jim, and Calvin, and he is adding.
Well, actually, Marty's selection there is a nice little transition because the other wide receiver I've been looking at is Marvin Harrison.
Oh, nice. Any point you get from him, I get some of this point from Peyton Manning.
And fantasy, yeah, that'd be a good strategy. Yeah. All right. And let's see. I kind of had Megatron on the list here as I need a wide receiver only. And that's a tough one. I mean, I guess there's really nobody that really stands out. I mean, I'm looking at lists and the same name seems to keep popping up. There's a lot of like old timey guys. I'm trying to stay somewhat current with my team. So I'm just going to go ahead and take Larry Fitzgerald.
Nice.
Ooh. And for me to secure my win here, let's take the greatest tight end of all time,
I got him.
Tony Gonzalez.
Damn it. That's who I was actually going to take.
Well,
Damn it.
you would have won this if you had taken him. You would have.
Yeah, there's only like maybe one or two, maybe three names. I think that, like with quarterbacks, I knew it was either going to be Brady, Montana, Manning, and maybe Aaron Rodgers would be the only four we would select from.
Oh, poor. With all due respect to Drew Brees.
That guy, he's in the State Farm commercials.
Marino, I think, could have been up there.
Well, yeah. He never won anything, and that means he shouldn't even be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, no.
That's exactly what it means. And not the sidebar, ladies and gentlemen. I'm kidding when I say that, but as a Cincinnati Bengals fan in an organization that's been around, I think, since 62 or 63, and we have one person in the Hall of Fame, and obviously we're not the best run organization in the NFL, but one NFL Hall of Fame player is ridiculous. I mean, the Bengals should have at least 3, 4, 5 guys in the Hall of Fame. And again, just because they don't win Super Bowls, it's like that's what penalizes them. Well, Dan Marino didn't win one either, and he's in there.
Let's not forget that topic was also the inspiration for at least one, maybe two videos that we did previously.
Those were called the Screw Job episodes.
That's true.
Take a look at those.
Yeah.
Screw Job or not. Whose turn is it? I think
Mike has left. The podcast is going to come to an end here as he picks a tight end. He's stalling and researching.
Nope. You guys gave me some extra time during that sidebar, but it didn't help.
Has to be Dicka.
Oh, nope. It's not Dicka. I'm looking here. Besides Gronk and Tony, nobody jumps out.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Heads and above the rest.
Yeah, they do.
But just because this man's a Hall of Famer, and I'm a big fan of his television show and podcast, I'm gonna to hell with it. I'm going with Shannon Sharp.
Oh wow,
there you go.
Also fine wine, as Tom would say.
Big fan of Undisputed with Skip and Shannon.
I'm a big fan of Shannon. I've said that talk to my kids about that as we all enjoy sports. Not a big fan of Skip. I think if Shannon went separately, I'd like, and that's primarily why.
You know,
it drives me nuts.
Who we left out? Nobody drafted arguably the greatest tight end of all time after Tony Gonzalez.
Drew Sample?
Antonio Gates.
Yeah, he would have been next on the list.
I saw him as well, but
probably closely followed by Rodney Holman. So
nice.
And then Travis Kelce. Well, the people call him Kelsey. It is Kels.
I think it is. Yeah, I don't know if it was on ESPN probably where they discussed that. I think he said he just got used to people calling him Kelsey, and it's hard to say Kels now because you're just used to Kelsey.
Of course.
It sounds weird saying it any other way, but
so there you go. We keep these podcast episodes short. What do you think of our teams? Quick rundown here. They're going to be on the screen as well if you're watching this, but I drafted Tom Brady, Barry Sanders, Randy Moss, Larry Fitzgerald, and Gronk. Marty got the two Peytons, Peyton Manning and Walter Payton, followed by Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and Tony Gonzalez. And team number 3, drafted by Mike, Joe Montana, Jim Brown, Calvin Johnson, Rodney Harrison, and Shannon Sharp.
Marvin Harrison.
I was going to say he went defense.
He
went to the hard-hitting Rodney Harrison.
Did I edit that out?
I would love to have Rodney if I could take a defensive player.
There you go. I was just watching something on him, and I guess that's why he was in my mind. But yeah, Marvin Harrison, and we'll give Mike Rodney too, because his anyway, he needs somebody else.
I'm definitely gonna win then.
Wow. And as I mentioned, Shannon Sharp. So there's the 3 teams. Comment below. Who do you think won this draft? Did I have the best draft, Marty or Mike? Let us know. Also, again, if you've made it this far in the video, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking this video. Heck, even click the little bell notification. If you like things in the entertainment and sports realm, that's primarily what we focus on here. We do full-length tournaments. We do these sort of episodes where we draft now. We do all sorts of things. Tons of fun here at the Tournament Podcast. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.